And today I'll be explaining why there is right now a decline in EVs and whether or not hybrid cars will replace them. For the while, I mean. So, as you probably know, Toyota's bet to stick to hybrid cars rather than making the jump to EVs has paid off. Many people are buying hybrids at a much faster rate than electric vehicles, and their demand is significantly dropping. Many companies such as Ford and GM have cut production drastically and have lowered expectations for the amount of cars that they expected to sell. Ford cut the price of its vehicles by $10,000, and Tesla has been making enormous leaps, cutting thousands and thousands of dollars. It is now its models are right now tens of thousands of dollars cheaper than they were only a year ago. And because of this, it seems like a very dark era for EVs. Only a few years ago, EVs were at the height of everything, right? There were startups were trying to cash into the EV market, and almost every car brand in the world has made one EV. Even Toyota has made an electric vehicle, though it wasn't widely produced. Because of all of these things, and because now people are actually looking to hybrids as the answer, it really seems like it's a drastic change. At first, EV production was skyrocketing. Then it's gone down a bit. It's still going up. Electric vehicles people are still buying electric vehicles at a much faster pace than before. But the demand has slowed. There is still a demand, 100%, but it has slowed, and it will take more time for electric vehicles to fully take over and beat the internal combustion engine cars. And so, along with that, many people are now focusing on hybrids. For example, the Toyota has made its very, very, very popular model, the Prius hybrid. Has made it a hybrid, and people are buying it. So today we'll be talking about the state of the EV market. So why are people not buying EVs? There's mostly three answers to this. First, price. Second, range. Third, the fact that maybe EVs don't cut emissions. Now, along with this, some people are just really biased. They think, hey, I'm only going to drive gas-powered cars, right? So some people are like that, but most people, as technology gets better, that's not the case anymore. Like even race cars and really fast cars are now becoming hybrid or maybe electric and fully electric. So that's changing. But anyway, the main factors are price, range, and the fact that electric vehicles don't really cut emissions drastically. So first, price. Electric vehicles are much more expensive than hybrids or internal combustion or cars that run on an internal combustion engine or ICE. This is mostly because there's a lot of components that you wouldn't see in a car like that, especially the battery, which is very expensive. And because of this, many people electric vehicles aren't exactly friendly to your wallet. Though some electric vehicles are actually in the lower price category, and even though companies like Tesla have cut a lot, the fact is, electric vehicles are very expensive. For example, Tesla's newly now available Cybertruck its cheapest model, which is expected to come out in 2025, which is 2 years from now, is still $61,000. And that's something that many Americans cannot afford, especially considering that most internal combustion engine cars, gas-powered cars, are still around 30,000. And and electric vehicles just aren't cheap. Before the price, because the Tesla Model S was over $100,000 to around $100,000. And even though they're having a lot of price, because electric vehicles still are still very expensive, and that's just not really friendly to the average American consumer. Meanwhile, the 2024 Toyota Prius, which is a hybrid car, is only around $28,000, which is much cheaper than Tesla's $43,000 cars, which is Tesla Model 3, which is the cheapest Tesla model out there. And there's of course the Model X and Model S and Model Y, which are much more expensive. And all the other cars like the Mustang and the R1T and cars like that. In fact, right now, the cheapest car out there is the cheapest electric car out there is the Chevrolet Bolt. And keep in mind, this is like the cheapest electric vehicle is around the price of the Toyota Prius. And of course, most people are not going to go for the Chevrolet Bolt. So my point is, electric vehicles are much more expensive than hybrid and internal combustion gas-powered cars. And because of this, some people are like, why even get an electric vehicle? It's too expensive and not worth it. And some people are okay with getting hybrids. It's like one step towards electrification. Not too far, but still, okay, right? Like people are like, yeah, that's good. So I'm still sort of helping the environment, but I'm not going the full way, like, getting an electric vehicle. Then there's range anxiety, which is probably one of the biggest problems. So, mostly electric vehicle charging stations are few and far between, especially in middle states and a lot of other places. The only place you're gonna find a lot of electric vehicle chargers are places like California, where the cost of oil is high. Therefore, electric vehicles are very, very cheap because they save a lot of money in the end. But if you don't live in that type of area, one, you're not gonna get the same rewards, of saving money on gas. And two, there's probably not going to be there's probably going to be like almost zero chargers out there. And that means that most electric vehicles, they can go like much less than the average internal combustion engine car. They still have okay range, but compared to an internal combustion engine car, it doesn't win. Definitely it doesn't win. Meanwhile, a gas-powered car or a hybrid car can go farther, and of course there's like a billion gas stations out there, right? Meanwhile, electric vehicle chargers are really hard to find, and because of that, many people are like, why just go into all that trouble? It's expensive. It's complicated, and now I can't even drive long distances. That's why most people don't take EVs on trips or anything like that, because they just can't. And that's going to create a lot of anxiety, which is why it's called range anxiety. And finally, electric vehicles might actually produce a lot of emissions in the manufacturing process. So yeah, when they're running, pretty clean. But when they're being manufactured, there is a lot of emissions. And so lots of questions are being raised. Hey, yeah, sure, maybe they're not producing emissions once they're in use, but what about before? Like, is this actually the way to sustainability, or should we try something else? Are hybrids the answer? Because while hybrids don't rely completely on gasoline, and they're still a step away from, pure gas fossil fuel fuel driven world, it's still a step towards electrification. So many people are saying, is this a better, more affordable choice for everybody? And if so, yes, maybe. But, and there are a lot of things against electric vehicles. But I, as somebody who has a Tesla Model 3, will say, if you live in a place where there's a lot of charging stations, it's really nice. I mean, price is definitely a barrier, but it's pretty much worth it. I can't really I haven't really ridden any modern ICE internal combustion engine cars, but I think that electric cars, if you live in a place where there's a lot of chargers, like Southern California, and I live in Southern California, then electric vehicles are basically like internal combustion engine cars, just that they have a shorter range, which is annoying, and they're a bit more expensive, which is very annoying. So, as we look out at today's state, the economy state, we're wondering, will electric vehicles really make a difference? Because almost every company automaker in the world is all like electric vehicles, right? Tesla is like one of the biggest automakers in the world, and we're seeing like countless models of electric vehicles, and so electric vehicles are definitely not going to stop. I mean, they're going to grow in popularity, but not as fast as many people expected. It's going to be slower. So before it was like boom. Now the market has cooled down, but it's not going to go like down. Instead, I think that it will go up a bit, and then it's cooled, and that will mean that they will have to cut production, and they have already. They've decided not to build as many factories and things like that, and to slow down on some production things, especially with strikes going on. But now I think that it's going to stabilize and go. I mean, it's going to gradually go up, but it's not going to go up like this as they expected. It's going to go up like this. So it's still going to go up. Electrification is definitely the future. As people build more EV chargers, and as technology becomes better and range becomes longer, and as a lot of things begin to advance and progress, and maybe soon more people will will switch to cars, I do expect a huge boost, a huge leap in electrification. This is helped by the fact that new electric vehicles are coming out every day, and they are amazing. For example, on Thursday, November 30th, we had the Cybertruck delivery event, right, by Tesla. And the Cybertruck, you've probably seen it, you've heard of it. That's like a pretty controversial car. Like, it's crazy. It looks crazy. It's made with steel, and it's bulletproof, right? Because of that, at least Tesla says, and because of all of those crazy things, I think that electric companies are still investing a lot of money into electric vehicles. I really do think that they are the future. And it's not just Tesla with the Cybertruck. It's Ford with its Ford F-150 Lightning. It's Rivian with the R1T. It's Chevy with its Chevrolet Bolt EV. It's Kia with its Kia EV6. It's Hyundai with its Ioniq 5 and 6. And it is just so many other cars. We are seeing a rise in electrification, and I don't expect that to stop soon. But before you go and just begin to buy enormous amounts of electric vehicle stocks, do keep in mind that production will slow. But do not underestimate the power of EVs. You will definitely see them appearing in more headlines very soon. And who knows? If maybe Apple makes a car, and it's very unlikely, but if Apple does make a car, it's probably going to be electric, right? And so I do expect, I'm really excited for the future of auto industry. But right now, I think that most people are gonna say, "Hey, I'm gonna stick to hybrids." Still, who knows? Maybe one day, every single car on the highway, on all the roads, are gonna be electric. Well, I'm gonna see you next time, and yeah, let's see what happens to the electric vehicle market, and hopefully we'll have more updates from auto companies that they are releasing new models, and if so, I will also follow up on that. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you next time for more about news or books or anything else. I don't know what the future holds, but hopefully it will hold a lot of very good things. Have a great rest of your day, and yeah, I'll see you next time.